On this episode of ReLiterated, a young woman enjoys a prolonged stay in an island paradise. Population 1. Because everyone she's ever known has been slaughtered by tourists, moved away, or been eaten by wild dogs. She'll take part in activities such as canoeing, archery, spelunking, homemaking, and arms and crafts. You heard right? Arms and crafts, because in order to survive, she'll need to spend all her free time gathering resources and single-handedly creating all sorts of things, including her own weapons. But on the bright side, she has a never-ending all-you-can-eat abalone buffet. For the 50th episode in the 7th chapter in the 3rd season of our show, we're visiting Island of the Blue Dolphins on ReLiterated, the podcast that regularly maxes out its library card. Welcome to ReLiterated, the lowbrow book club of grown-ass adults reading the children's books popular in the 1990s, but with 2020's hindsight. Fair warning, we use language too mature for kids, analysis too immature for literary scholars, and ignorance too profound to be inoffensive to everyone. We also talk about our books in depth, and that includes spoilers, so before you listen, if you're not familiar with the story, prepare to know everything that's going to happen in it. My name's Andy.
I'm Harold.
And I'm Josh.
And that was about as smooth a start as we've ever had for the show. I just had to go and ruin it. But welcome, one and all, to our 50th episode that we've recorded.
Yes, it might not look like 50 because we had to get rid of some, but it is, in fact, 50 times that we have recorded an episode.
That's true.
Yeah, sadly. Well, but we're trying to find a different avenue for doing something a little bit different. So we'll see what happens.
Yep, still looking to replace what we lost. And I'm sure they appreciate us not mentioning them anymore. Not like they're still listening to us probably, but we are on the radar.
So if you have any ideas, let us know and we'll see if it will be incorporated.
Very true. We're always open to suggestions, not just for that, but any future books that we may want to feature on future episodes. And speaking of which, today we have a listener-suggested book that we're going to be covering for this episode.
A listener request, yes.
Wasn't this requested in the first season?
Yes, or first chapter,
chapter, yeah.
All the way back to chapter 1, yeah.
Yes, Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell. And that was from Nyla. So, thank you, Nyla.
Thanks, Nyla. We're finally doing it.
Yep, thank you.
And I must say, I enjoyed that book quite a bit. I thought it was fun.
I must say, I can tell why I didn't remember too much about it after being assigned to it in 4th grade. And the only thing I remember about this book was that there's a girl on an island that eats a lot of abalone.
I don't think I ever read this book in 4th grade.
No,
we had different 4th grade classes. I had Mrs.
We had
Rogers.
different classes, yeah, but we still were in the same school.
I don't remember reading this book at all. And I like the detail throughout the story about how she survived and everything, but the story of her staying and surviving, I think that at this point I've seen that story so many times that it kind of, I don't know, it was cool to listen to like the way she had to go beyond the gender norms of her society. That was the cool part about this story.
Yeah. Well, before we get too in depth about it,
yeah, right.
Let's start broad and whittle our way down to the nitty gritty. This was first published in the year 1960 by Scott Odell, and it's a story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what happened. All because she couldn't have her island of dolphins.
Yep. But she's a native girl, and her story is told by a white dude. I'm assuming he's white because he's got the name Scott Odell.
Yep.
He's pretty white.
Nobody who can tell the story of a young native girl like a white dude.
My God, he's Aboriginal, actually.
So, for more info about the author, why don't we turn it to Josh, as we always do, for a deep dive into Scott Odell.
Yeah, a little bit of a dive, not too deep. But Scott Odell was born on May 23rd, 1898 in Los Angeles, California. And they made a big deal about, there were no airplanes and freeways and there were only a few automobiles. they talk a lot about that, but then when it come to actually him, they're like, yeah, he was one of the people that had the car. So he probably came up somewhat, affluent and had a little bit of money at least. Went to Long Beach Polytechnic High School where he became a track star. And then he went to 4 different colleges: Occidental College in California, the University of Wisconsin, Stanford, and the University of Rome. When he was a teenager, he wanted to... Well, World War I started as he was a teenager, so in 1918, he joined the army, but before he was commissioned, the war ended, and so he didn't have to see any combat.
So he didn't do anything in wars?
He didn't do things in wars.
Oh, no. In World War II, he was more than 40, and he still enlisted. So he enlisted in the Air Force and was stationed at Shepherd Air Force Base in Texas. But he was over 40, so he didn't go overseas.
Just safe at home at an Air Force Base.
And what's fun
in his 40s
is they finally get to the point where they're like, if you look for his record, you'll never find it, because he wasn't actually born Scott Odell. He was born Odell Gabriel Scott. But one of his earliest writings, A Typesetter's Mistake, had the article as by Scott Odell, and he liked it, so he legally changed it in the 20s. So,
He didn't just use it as a pen name, he legally changed his name to The Mistake.
Yep. It does sound a lot better than Odell Gabriel Scott, in my opinion. But
right.
And without the Gabriel, his name is Odell Scott.
Yeah, just Odell Scott.
He could have gone with the nickname Oggs.
Oggs.
Just call me Oggs.
So living in LA, he actually got a little bit into the movie business, and he read and criticized movie scripts by amateurs. So his first book was actually Representative Photoplays Analyzed, and that was published in 1924 when he was 26. He did a lot of work but backstage work. He only appeared in one film, and that was Son of the Sheik, and it was only his hands. So you don't actually see him, just his hands. But then he started writing, and let's see here, because that is on his website, but the Wikipedia is much shorter. So I was like, I want to get some of the information about it. Let's see.
While you're looking that up, I pulled up a interesting fact that this is a Newbery Medal Award winning book.
Yes, this one he won, and he was nominated 2 other times for 2 other books, but this is the only one that he won. And he was actually, let's see, where was that information? That was up at the top. I don't have a very big screen.
Was he almost 80 when he wrote this book?
In 1960, he would have been, he was born in 1898, so in his 60s through 62.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Still pretty old. Still an old white guy telling a story about a young Native woman.
Yeah. But he was awarded the Lewis Carroll Shelf Award. And basically he got an award that very, very few authors get. Oh, there it is. The Biennial International Hans Christian Andersen Award in 1972, the highest recognition available to creators of children's books. There you go.
Whoa, even higher than the Newbery?
Yeah, apparently. And then
I think they all talk about themselves as the highest award.
Yeah, and then he received the University of Southern Mississippi Medallion and the Catholic Libraries Association Regina Medal in 1978.
University of Southern Mississippi Medallion. So this white guy that wrote a book about a native girl that survived on an island.
Other books.
Received a bunch of awards for this book. Oh, these aren't all for this book.
No, he won them for... He's written a lot of children's books. The famous ones are Island of the Blue Dolphins. There's another one called The Black Pearl. And then there's the
Black Pearl's also about a native kid.
And then there's The King's Fifth.
I don't know what that one's about.
That is about, I believe it was about a person working on one of the conquistador ships.
Point of view of a teenage Spanish conquistador.
Yep. And it was The King's Fifth that's how much the king got from the spoils, was a fifth.
Okay. The spoils of what? That they took from the native people in South America?
That's exactly right. That they stole from the natives.
Yeah.
After killing them.
I'm willing to bet that the conquistadors get off pretty easily in this book, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, there's no conquistadors in this book. In this book, they're just the Russians. So, the King's Fifth was turned into an anime.
In this book, no.
Yeah, and then it was the mystery. It was the King's Fifth was an inspiration for the 1982 anime television series, The Mysterious Cities of Gold. So that is out there if you want to see some 80s anime. And then he eventually passed away. Obviously, he was old. In 1989, at age 91, he passed away in New York. But I read a thing about how they spread his ashes over the ocean. And as they were doing that, a pod of dolphins came up and accompanied the ship. And I was like, that's a very interesting thing. I'm like, I don't know why, but that's very, very interesting. So
very coincidental tale there. That one.
Yeah, I was like, that's cool.
Or maybe the dolphins were like, ooh, this is Tasty Flakes. Like, they threw his ashes over there. Like, what's that in the water? I like my food burnt.
They got the taste for charred flesh now.
Some charred people. So I want to be clear, because obviously he would have been 91 in 1989, that my mistake came when Josh said something about 1918, him joining. I, for some reason, started him back again from... Anyways. I'm like, that was a bad math mistake back there with the 80 and 60.
After you just were talking about how good you were with math at work.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
He's a good math guy.
Oh. So.
But yes, this book is based on a true story, kind of. It's based on a real person. And the person, they obviously gave her a Spanish name when they saved her. And her name
quote,
was...
Quote, in quotes.
Do we want to get to the real story, or do we want to get to the book story first?
And then
let's get to the book story, and I'll actually save this for the reiterated, so that we can talk about it.
You can still do it here.
Let's just talk about Island of the Blue Dolphins first, and then talk about how that relates to what really happened and what's historically backed up and everything. So yeah, let's summarize it with who's your uncle. Bob's your uncle. That's who.
Yeah, Bob.
Bob's your uncle. He's one who's your uncle.
He's two of my uncles.
Who's your uncle? Bob's your uncle.
Bob Uncle. He sells cars down on the corner of 5th and...
Come on down to Bob Uncle's used cars.
Bob Uncle's used cars.
And book summaries.
So, Island of the Blue Dolphins. This book is about a young woman named Karana and her village of people that live on an island. I can't pronounce the name and don't have it right in front of me. It's like Grata Als.
Do they ever name the island? I know that the village is named Galasat.
Galasat, yeah. The village, but they live on the Island of the Blue Dolphins.
Yeah.
So this tribe has lived here for as long as this girl knows, and one day some Russians come with some aleuts, which are natives from the mainland, and they want to hunt for otter and use the skins. Her dad is the elder of the village, and he makes a deal that if they share half their profits, they'll let them have it, because they didn't want the aleuts hunting there. The aleuts had been there before and had damaged the island or taken from them, and they didn't even like this deal.
They made them work day and night.
Yeah, they made them work day and night. Yeah, that's what it was. So they end up doing their hunting, and when they get ready to leave, they don't give a satisfactory amount. So the elder, her father, decides that that's not going to work, so they all start fighting, and in the end, the villagers lose to the aleuts, who do leave, and they leave a bunch of dogs behind, which becomes important later. And they do leave, but not before killing many of their tribe members, and including Karana's father. Somebody else takes over the tribe, and they decide it's time to leave. So they wait for a ship to come. They get on the ship, and just as they're taking off, Karana's brother is looking for a spear on the island. So she jumps off the boat, ends up back on the island, and they leave off without her. Her and her brother are on the island for a little bit, and he ends up getting killed by wild dogs because he thinks he's invincible. So she now has to live by herself, but in this society, women aren't allowed to make tools or use bow and arrow or spear, but she has to do that. She's been told a bunch of crazy things her whole life, like a bow would break if she tried to use it. She ends up surviving pretty well, eating abalone or abalone. Yeah, they're like
abalone.
Yeah, so she's eating abalone, and she survives for quite some time before finally deciding that she wants to take revenge on the dogs. So she ends up going out. She shoots the big one, and after a couple days, she gets sick and she gets injured, doesn't she? Yeah, she has to take a couple days. And she goes out, she finds the dog, and she nurses it back to health. They become friends. And I mean, she lives for a long time on this island by herself, always worried that the Aleuts will come back. And they don't for the longest time, but she builds herself a second home. It's mostly about survival throughout the book. She builds herself a second home in a cave just in case, and then the Aleuts do come back. She ends up hiding in her cave, but she meets an Aleut girl. They get along. And then she doesn't see anybody for a long time and decides she needs to leave the island. So when she sees a ship come, she allows them to take her. Of course, yeah, some other stuff has happened, but we could talk about that. But she ends up getting on the ship. Some white people save her off the island and put her into some real clothes, and they tell her that her whole village had died on the boat years ago, so she ends up being the only one that survives her whole village. And Bob's your uncle. That's Island of the Blue Dolphin, which yeah.
Now the tribe that went before her, it was just a boat that sank shortly after they made that trip. Her people were
her people
were okay.
Were her people okay?
They made it to America.
That's right. She does get there and see that they're okay.
But
yes,
the ship sank in between that happening and their trip that they were going to take to go back and get her.
Yes,
so it never made its way back.
Yeah, it never made its way back. Yes.
However,
yes.
In the real world, every one of those people that came over died of dysentery shortly thereafter.
Yeah, that's
which is conveniently left out of the book. But
yeah,
we'll talk more on the real story later on. But let's dive into the story here. Overall, I thought it was a fairly decent story. It's not like she has a really big character arc. Like she gets on for 18 years on the island before she befriended the Aleut girl and started really having the need for human interaction again and wanting to get off the island with whoever came on a boat the next time. I think she was even willing to get on the boat with an Aleut if it happened to be Aleuts.
Yeah.
But fortunately for her, it was the white men who
it was the white saviors.
It was the white missionaries.
Yep, the white missionaries. They brought her to safety in Jesus.
We need to show her Jesus.
The island of the Blue Dolphins is 70 miles off the coast of California, of Santa Barbara, California. And so there were missionaries from there who made the trip over to the island. I guess they were like hunt some otters, or I don't know, try to find some natives to save, or whatever
it be.
It's part of their whole missionary position.
Nice.
Like her biggest arc in this story was, like I said, the fact that in her society, she was told that if she broke those gender roles and did something a man did, that something terrible would happen if she did it. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't even work for her. Like it was karmic or something, and she had to break through those a little bit. But I mean, and even then though, she didn't struggle with it much. It was mostly with the bow and arrow. Mm-hmm. She really struggled with that one. Like she was worried it was going to break when she used it. But yeah.
The whole process of her making the weapons was like, the big breakthrough in gender roles. And it was out of necessity. And she talked about how, like, when she was making a spear, how she had watched her father doing it, but it wasn't with the eyes of someone who was learning how to do it, but watching the process, but she had to kind of go through a couple of trial and error things to get that right.
Right. She had a base, but not the knowledge.
She wound up doing pretty good. She had a bows and arrows that worked pretty well.
Yep.
She made a specialized spear for hunting the devilfish, which was a big squid.
You didn't even mention the devilfish.
Oh, well, dude, Josh, when are you going to understand that the Bob's Your Uncle summary is not the detailed part of the story?
No, that's a big part of the story, though, dude. That's a huge part of the story. Also,
the dog didn't even make the Bob's Your Uncle.
So
neither of the dogs made the Bob's Your Uncle. Rontu?
I said she had the dog. She had the dog. I didn't mention that she had the puppy to take back. Yeah, I mentioned the dog. I didn't mention that she got the puppy at the end.
Yeah,
she took a dog with her at the end.
Rontu's dog was like her.
And Rontu Aru.
Rontu Aru, the son of Rontu, right?
Yeah, yep.
But this was like the leader of the pack of dogs that murdered her brother.
Yeah.
And...
yeah, I was like, the story only talks about the girl. This little kid's gonna die, huh? And then 2 pages later, that kid was dead. I was like, this is brutal. Yes. But hey,
the brother that she jumped off the boat to go back to be with, to not leave alone on the island. She left him alone on the island, and he got eaten by dogs.
Yeah, she should have just left him because
probably weeks later. I thought it was pretty funny. She's alone with her brother on the island, and her brother Ramo, easy enough name to pronounce. He realizes that he's the son of Chief Chowig, who was the father who got killed by the Aleuts, whatever. But now he's the only male on the island, so now he's the chief. And he changes his name to Chief Tanyo Sitlopai.
Yeah, I was not going to even try that one.
Which roughly translated is Josh cannot pronounce this.
Definitely.
I really wanted to hear you try, though.
Well, what page is that? Because I could try.
Let me see if I can find it.
And it's funny because it is truly that, the reason he ends up dying is his own hubris. He's...
I found it.
Insists that he's so great.
Yeah, it's Chief Tanyo Sitlopai.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that one's actually pretty easy. You just have to read it out phonetically.
It's actually Jacob, though.
It's pronounced Jacob.
It's pronounced Jacob. Tim.
It's pronounced Tim. Yes.
But I thought it was very interesting at the beginning of the story how there is the village and she's just regulated to this one task. And because she is younger and she is a woman. So yeah, she is not allowed to do these other tasks. But one of the main things that I saw was they talked about the 2 names. And then the chief gave the secret name to the Aleuts, and they were like, "Oh, that's why he died." And I was like, "Well, that's a good reasoning of why he died."
Everyone in her culture had 2 different names, one that they gave to people and one that was their secret name, their personal name that was only meant to be shared with the people closest to them.
Right.
And if you give out your secret name, that's supposed to rob it of its power or something.
So yeah. When the chief gave his secret name to the the foreigners, that's when apparently lost his power.
That's apparently why he got killed, is because of a silly superstition like that.
Well, I think it's as much a coincidence as the dolphins eating that guy's ashes.
The dolphins eating the ashes.
Yes. Well, I was also going to say, I was like, when she went through that chest, when she finally went through the chest, there were no spears, and there were supposed to be spears, so they were probably going to kill those people anyway, because they were reneging on their deal, so.
Right, yeah. They were totally planning on reneging on the deal. You could tell right from the beginning that it was never gonna be that way. It already happened to them.
I'm like, don't say Indian givers. Don't say Indian givers.
I would no. I'm just saying, it was never gonna be that way. They clearly were like, oh yeah, we're totally gonna do that, and I think it was more the, I don't know. So the Russians facilitated the trip over there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Aleuts are natives of the Aleutian Islands, which are part of Alaska now.
Right.
And back then Russia was still a kind of control of Alaska. So
right. So essentially, they're kind of like this is how you do it. You go in there, you don't actually bring them what you need, and you'll get what you want. You get your otters, we get half, you get the other half. We leave, we give them nothing. You know what I mean? That's probably what was going on.
This is first installment of what we're going to pay you. Yes, let's get all of our.
Well, yeah, they kept saying that there's more chests on the ship. There's more chests on the ship.
Yeah, we're going to get them right now. But
just let us put these on the ship first, and then we'll give it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, you always know that's a bad deal.
And Chief Chow is like, no, you go get them first. And then, bam, that's when all but like 15 of the men of the tribe were slaughtered. Mm-hmm. And the rest were like the old people and children.
Because firearms are more powerful than spears.
Well, and I don't think that their village was really prepared because they were getting iron spears. That was what they were going to get: iron tips, spear tips, and beads. So they probably weren't armed up like that. They were probably armed up in a sense of like, oh, if we had to fight a force that's similar to us,
right?
Well, yeah, they probably had spears and arrows and harpoon type weapons because that was what she used to get the devilfish. Eventually, was a harpoon. So
right.
What's a devilfish?
Squid.
Oh. Did they have one in this story?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's several. She hunts
found
them.
This giant squid in a cave that she found, and like it got away. It squirted its ink and jetted, and then like months later, whatever, she encountered the same one. She knew it. I don't know how she knew it was the same one, but it was the same.
She could tell. You could tell by the look in their eye.
You could tell by the way they look. Yeah.
They give you a look.
Yep.
Squid.
And she wound up getting it that time, but it also kind of wrapped itself around the dog, Rontu.
Yes. No, I know. I remember that. I just think it's funny because it's just a fish that Josh was like, it's a huge part of the story. You should have explained the whole devilfish thing. But then we'll talk about it now,
just
Josh.
a really
cool
part because she talks about how she has to hunt it and all the different things that she has to do. And like the canoe, she had to make her own canoe. And to me, it was just like, okay, Sam Gribley had it easy. This girl was literally by herself, and she had to make it work, and she was able to learn and do it.
But she also grew. Now, I'm not saying that she didn't have to teach herself because she wasn't being taught. She wasn't a boy on this island, and obviously that was the way it was. But she was around it her whole life, and like especially with food and water, she would know how to gather that stuff. So.
Yeah, she knew about the springs.
It buys you a lot of time to learn, a lot of time to
she wasn't starting
trial and error.
From not knowing what to do, like Brian from Hatchet.
Yeah.
Or Sam Gribley from My Side of the Mountain, where he had an encyclopedic knowledge going into living in the wilderness. But Brian, what's his face?
Brian Hatchet
was in a plane crash from living in modern civilized life and had to figure out all this stuff on his own.
Right.
But Karana was armed with knowledge passed down through thousands of years of her people being on the island. It's just some of the tasks were forbidden because of her gender.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that until she figured all that out, she was having a lot of abalone sandwiches. Abalone and cheese.
Sandwiches. We got there. I
got it. I got to the bologna sandwich joke. Got it.
Abalone sandwiches. Let's talk about how much abalone appears in this book.
What is abalone?
Abalone
it's a type of
is
shellfish.
like a mollusk, a shellfish. Like otters will like crack it open, and
is it tasty?
I don't know. It's got to taste okay because she eats it nonstop. She's always drying abalone, and the dogs are getting into it. And but it's apparently a very common shellfish. She eats other things too, but like other types of fish and probably the cormorants that she kills for the feathers. And at some point in the book, she swears off of killing otters and cormorants and whatever for like their pelts or feathers or whatever, and goes mostly probably pescatarian.
Can't even eat abalone anymore. It's an endangered species.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's endangered now, huh?
Yeah, because fucking Karana, I guess, ate it all up.
Karana ate it.
She ate it all up.
Well, it says the flavor is naturally buttery and salty.
There's some you can get, but like the white abalone is illegal to hunt. You can get some abalone here, but it's like $19 a pound.
I think she mentioned like red abalone.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. And then there's the pink abalone that Oscar Mayer makes.
Ooh, I would totally try it. It looks good. I like shellfish. I like fish.
You'd
fish
try
stuff.
abalone?
I'd try it. Heck yeah. Wild abalone, $158.
Dang. She was sitting on a gold mine and she didn't even know it.
God dang. Yeah, it's expensive, dude. It's not cheap. $26 for a cheap one. Dang. Might have to try it, though. If they're going to charge that much, it's got to be good, right? They wouldn't charge that kind of money for something that's gross. So, yeah. So, she kind of had a better way of surviving on the island. And I felt that made it more interesting, like her dealing with the loneliness, because she didn't seem too upset about being lonely until she ran into somebody again. She kind of accepted that was her life, because now she was, and I think it was because she was getting to do all the things she was told she wasn't allowed to do, and it was working out for her. Right. You know, and then she met the dog, and when she had shot him with an arrow and it was going to let him die. And I don't remember what was it that made her, she got sick. Right? Because she couldn't go back for 5 days. She hit her head or something.
I don't remember her ever getting injured.
I remember she got injured.
She didn't go out to the dog.
But I thought it was by the seals that she got injured. When she was trying to hunt the seals, she got hurt. But with the dog, it was something else.
The sea elephants? Like, she got caught in the fight with the sea elephants?
Because it was days before she found the dog, was it not?
No, I think she found the dog fairly quickly. She was following him, but I don't remember exactly what it was.
No, you know what? That's right. She left the dog after she pulled the arrow out. She left him for a minute.
So it rained, and I did not go look for him. So she just wasn't able to go look for him. She wasn't. Okay. I don't think she was hurt.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, she shot him with an arrow, and he ran off. And like she found him later on with like the arrow, with the better part of the arrow gnawed off. And I guess it was like maybe the process of healing him up and getting him to trust her or something.
Maybe. Yeah. By slowly feeding him while he was hurt and trying to help the wound heal and things like that. So,
because she carried him back to her place, and I for some reason I felt like she didn't, but it was she couldn't go look for him right away. That's what it was.
Yeah, and she was injured because she was injured when she was trying to get she was hunting. What was it? The bull elk. She was trying to get the harpoon, the tip for the harpoon. So she had to wait for. Yeah,
she wanted to get like a sea elephant tusk.
That's it, sea elephant. So and that's when she got hurt.
The bull elephant got into a fight with a younger bull, and I don't recall if they like wound up crashing into her or something, or okay, I think I found it. He came quickly up the slope, his great mouth open, the young bull close behind him. He came toward me, and in haste to get out of his way, not knowing whether he was bent on attacking me, I stepped back. In doing so, I tripped over a stone and fell to my knees.
That's what it was.
I felt a sharp pain in my leg, but was quickly up. By this time, the old bull had rolled around and turned upon his pursuer so fast the young bull was taken by surprise, blah, blah, blah. So
and then she probably it gets worse when she goes home.
Yeah,
she probably sprained her ankle real bad. I've done that.
Yeah.
Literally running backwards, I sprained my ankle by tripping on a brook.
I've banged my knee up good, too. She said she landed on her knee and she felt a sharp pain.
Yeah. She hurt herself, sprained something maybe.
Yeah, that's what it was. I mixed them up, had them mixed in.
But it was cool because she got to go back and harvest.
Yeah, she went back and harvested some tusks for her spears.
So I thought that was very cool, and I thought it was very interesting. They had a little bit of Call of the Wild in this book too, when Rontu had to go and show the other packs what's up.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he got in that fight with the other dog, and
with the other dog who was trying to become head of the pack, and he was like, "Just because I ain't around doesn't mean I'm not still leader here."
She was going to intervene, but she held off on it because they would just come back and fight this fight again. So she had to let Rontu do his thing.
Yep.
So.
Heck yeah, you got to let the dog do it. So that's what I always say. Like if I'm at a dog park and my dog starts turning into some other dog, I'm like, you got to let these dogs let each other know who's boss, you know? I do not condone that activity at all. That is awful.
No, the story you told me about what happened at the dog park made me laugh because you made a dog stop instantly and start howling because you yelled out at it.
No, it was actually we were walking at Topico Marsh and somebody had their dog off leash and it was dogs running right at me, and I pulled my dogs behind me, and I just raised my hand out towards it, like you were trying, as if you're trying to like push with the force or something. And I pointed it right at the dog, and I just yelled, "Out!" Like, and the dog literally, like, his head hit the ground, and he flipped over on his back, stood up, and started yipping and running the other way. And his owner's like, "Don't hit my dog!" And I'm like, "I didn't even touch your dog. Your dog was 7 feet away from me. I just showed him what it's like when somebody's in charge."
That is amazing.
Yo, it was awesome. It was fucking great.
You shall not pass.
I scared the living shit out of that dog. I can see it right in his face.
You gotta show that dominance.
Yep.
But then if dogs get in a fight at the dog park, like the owner of the dog who loses has to like give you his wallet or something? Or
I don't know what it is now. It used to be that you got the firstborn child.
Oh, okay. Or like you get to take his wife home. Or...
Yeah. If they don't have a firstborn.
If they don't have a firstborn.
Yeah, you got to make a firstborn.
Right. You got to.
Oh, that joke doesn't fly today, does it?
I don't know. There's got to be some sort of dominance prize involved.
Right. No, actually,
or else why have a dog?
If you're at the dog park and your dog starts attacking another dog, then it is your job to get in and get a hold of your dog and get it away from that other dog.
And never take it to that dog park again.
No, and
or
start training your dog.
Yeah, start training your dog.
Start training your dog. Like, it shouldn't be doing that.
And don't you come back until he's trained.
Yep.
Oh, and I did want to bring up, I think she just got to the point where she was like, okay, I'm never going to be able to leave this island, because she tried to leave the island and it did not go well. Did not go well.
Right. Her canoe started leaking before she got halfway to the mainland.
The jungle said no.
The jungle
That's essentially what happened.
The ocean said no.
Yeah. The ocean said no.
The ocean said no. But yeah, it was a good story of adaptability, because she had to adapt a lot to overcome what she had to deal with. But
and she lasted 18 years.
Yeah.
According to this book, yeah.
On her own. So more or less.
Right, so eat that, Sam Gribley, you know.
Right. The boxcar children.
Or the boxcar children.
Yeah, saved by their rich grandpa.
Right?
Even though they were totally being looked out for by the entire townsfolk.
Well, Karana got saved by the benevolent white sailors. Benevolent white missionaries.
Yes.
Yes.
Eventually. But she had her Cormont dress. She went to Tall Rock to kill the Cormonts and get their feathers so she can make her Cormont feather dress. And that was actually what the real person was wearing when they found her. So that might have been part of it, part of his research.
So, okay, like, I'm torn on this whole real person story. Because...
Yeah, let's get into the story of the real... Because this book is based on a real story of a woman that they found living by herself after her people got taken off the island. I don't know if it was 18 years in real life beforehand or whatever, but they had found her, and the details are obviously changed and dramatized for the book.
Right.
But this is essentially based on a true story.
Yeah, because...
Just from the white person's perspective. Extrapolated into what may have happened for this woman.
Yeah, because, again, she could barely communicate with anybody. She could only communicate with a few people, and it was only through broken languages.
And why can nobody translate for her?
Because she was the only one left that spoke her language.
Why was that?
Because she was on an island by herself for however long.
Why was that? Because everybody from her tribe that got taken to America died of dysentery very shortly after.
Yep.
Including her.
Well, we don't know
the only person. Apparently, it says the reason that she was there is that she realized that her infant was still on the island, and that's why she jumped off the boat.
That's one of the ideas. They don't know for sure.
Oh, shit, my baby!
Like, in the book, it was her little brother, but some people say the real woman stayed for her child, for her baby, which was still on the island. Some say she just got left.
Mm-hmm.
She died, of dysentery 7 weeks after they found her. After living 20 years on an island by herself, she died
after all the people who came over before her had died also.
Yeah, it's almost like those missionaries
dysentery.
in their religious cult are cursed or something.
Some kind of curse.
Kind of curse.
A supernatural curse that accompanies these people who come over to spread religion.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know that it seemed the story's from the mid 1800s. So it could be true. It could be, you know what I mean? It seems like it has it must have a lick of truth to it, but.
Yeah, they say that there's one possible photo of her, and that's on the Wikipedia page. And yeah, she got to the mainland and realized, oh, fuck, all this food is amazing. And so she started eating all this fruit and like green cord and all this, and that is what caused her to have dysentery.
No, probably she got dysentery from being around all the white people that had all the extra diseases.
All the new diseases that her people had never been exposed to.
Yeah, that could be it.
Dysentery, you don't get dysentery just because look at this fruit. Ate a little fruit. Oh, God, I got dysentery. No, you get dysentery from people.
Well, it said
the water.
Nedever claimed her fondness for green corn, vegetables, and fresh fruit after years of such little nutrient-laden food caused the severe and ultimately fatal disease. But, before she died, they made sure she was baptized so she could go to heaven with Jeebus.
She's in heaven now.
So, is that a recent scientist that said that's the reason she got dysentery and died, or is that what they said back then?
Nedever. So, the guy that I think went to get her.
Oh, so the white guy that went to get her said that, the reason she died is because she's eating this fruit after all them years eating that lean meat.
All that
it actually makes sense. Because if you do start eating a whole bunch of fruit, you start shitting like a river.
Not dysentery style.
I don't know.
We're about to find out.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's bing this.
Dysentery is most often caused by the Shigella bacteria, Shigellosis, or an amoeba. Dysentery is often spread through contaminated food or water. Not just because it's fruit, it's contaminated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exposure to bacteria that your system is not used to.
Yeah, or just bacteria you're not used to. So like because that could they called it dysentery, but it could have just been diarrhea.
Traveler's diarrhea.
Traveler's diarrhea because she got sick.
Yeah. Contaminated food. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And she was dehydrated and it was 1840. And they were like,
yeah, exactly.
You gotta bleed her. Cut her veins open a little bit and let the blood out. It's the demons that are making her sick. The ghosts are in her blood.
Couldn't get enough leeches.
Get her some cocaine.
Get
her some cocaine and whiskey.
Here, have a little opium.
Yeah.
That's how George Washington died. They let out too much blood.
I'm just saying, I don't know if the story is so cut and dry.
But the fact of the matter is that there are no survivors of the what they call the Nicoleño people.
Yes.
Yep, which is sad.
Mm-hmm.
Also, probably not what they called themselves because that seems like that's a Spanish name attributed to the island. Is the island of San Nicolas, which Spanish for Saint Nicholas, you got that Catholic influence there. So guaranteed that's not what they called their own island.
No.
Or their own tribe.
No, guaranteed. And that's sad because there you go. What this story does talk about is a entire native people that were wiped out in the name of spreading faith in something. It's just crazy.
Integrating them into us.
Yeah, like you have to be part of us. Yeah. And that's really what it is. It's not even about the faith. It's about you have to be part of us. Mm-hmm. You must be part of us.
You can't have your own thing.
Yeah. It's so weird. Well, but when you're trying to spread freedom to people, you have to show them how their way is totally wrong.
Yeah.
And they have to do what you do so they can be free.
That's what freedom is, yeah.
That's what freedom means,
Mm-hmm.
That is the Republican definition of it.
Now all rise for the pledge.
Now all rise for the pledge or be shot.
Don't you dare kneel.
Don't you dare kneel.
National anthem.
Don't you
Unless
dare
you're kneeling
kneel.
to pray at a school
Unless you're
with children
praying
and lead a prayer. Yeah, unless you're kneeling to lead a prayer at a public school. That's okay.
Right.
All of a sudden. Yeah.
Yeah,
Island of the Blue Dolphins, man.
Colin Kaepernick probably should have just said, "Yeah, I was praying that cops would stop killing us."
Yeah, yeah, right. He probably wouldn't be lying.
What did you guys think about the earthquake?
Right, because
and the tsunami. Because I was like,
to the end of the book, she
this is a tsunami. I was like, what's going on? Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's how she lost her canoe.
Yep. And part of the reason that it was making it easier for her to want to leave too, because it's like,
right.
Obviously it was difficult to survive these things. I mean, it's either stay here and fight against, earthquakes and typhoons and whatever else, or get on a boat and die of diarrhea in 7 weeks. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah. She was fucked.
She lived 18 years there. She can't. I can't imagine she could have lived.
Fortunately, the seasons weren't too different.
No.
Yeah, she's off the coast of California, so it's not going to be freezing.
She knew about where's the difference between springs and summers and winters or whatever, but they were generally mild winters, not like your Brian Hatchett.
Yeah, Brian.
You gotta escape before winter comes.
Or even like Sam Gribley had cold winters.
Yeah, Sam Gribley in My Side of the Mountain survived a cold winter.
In his tree.
With his Christmas party.
He had a Christmas party.
With Bando. That's a good episode. You should go listen to it.
Yeah.
Highly recommended.
I mean, she had her own group. She had Rando. She had the seal. Remember
she made her seal friend.
Her
she
seal
did have
friend.
A couple animal friends.
Yep.
So, and she met her later with the babies. Oh, that would have been so cute to see the baby seals. Oh.
When Rontu died, that was pretty sad.
It was.
I thought, and I understood going to steal his child from the mother. That's what I would do.
It was so sad. She had to go and snare his son.
With a snare. Yeah. That's how you build a relationship, I think.
Kidnapping.
Yeah.
He's go kidnap a new dog.
Isn't that how it worked in Racing Arizona? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
No, now my references are old. But
overall, though, I did like this story. I really did like the story. Like I say, I think it's kind of it's almost a Sam Gribley-esque story because she's got so much knowledge to start with. And there's only a couple points where she's in any danger, and she puts herself in that danger. It's not like the danger came to her very often. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She puts herself, she decides she wants to go after the wild dog. She wants the tusk from the elephant seal.
Yeah, because she also knew how to avoid the danger. She knew where to set up her house to be away from the wild dogs.
Right.
And yeah,
because the whole they'd lived there for so long that it was just that's how you live on that island. So
it was just the living without a community part that was the challenge for her.
Really, yeah, not having anyone to talk to, and even the dog helped with
or
that
division of labor kind of stuff. She had to do everything herself.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you don't think about that. It seems like it's like, oh, well, I'll just build a house. Well, by the end of the day, if you're alone, you might only have part of a shelter done, you know?
She apparently had enough whale ribs, though, to build an entire fence around her house. True. I forget what she made her house out of. But
she said it took her a long time to find the materials on the island because there's just not very many trees. And so she was able to scrounge it up.
A little shack. Yeah. But she made a whole fence out of whale ribs.
Yeah, her
beached whale's corpse
to protect her from the dogs from getting to her.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you guys think about her inbred birds that she got?
Her inbred birds.
Remember, she got the birds, and then she had them as babies, and then when they grew up, they had more babies.
Oh,
those birds were inbred.
Aren't all birds inbred?
No,
aren't all birds based off of the robin?
I mean, we all know that birds aren't real.
Yeah, like all birds. Well, okay, so like most birds are just a robin inside a suit that looks like a bigger bird. And as far as
I thought they were all
finches
security cameras.
No, the finches.
They're all security cameras.
Finches are the ones from the CIA. That's the trick of it. The other birds are real. It's just robins wearing bigger bird suits. But the finches are from the CIA because they're smaller. Hummingbirds too. CIA.
Yes.
That's why they're so fast.
Yeah. Well, and they can hover, like look right at you through the window.
Yeah.
Oh, they do that. Yep. They stare at me like, why haven't you put any food in our feeder? And I'm like, 'cause I'm lazy. Yeah, they come and stare at me. through my window right here. Actually,
they're really
They'll,
looking
just
at
come
you
and
like, why
stare,
haven't
like-
you put gas in your car for a week?
Yeah.
Because I got an electric bicycle.
That'd be terrifying if a fucking hummingbird like opened its mouth and it's like a speaker noise came out. It's like, hello.
If a hummingbird opened its
Start
mouth, I would be
advertising.
terrified. It shouldn't open.
No. That's exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You appear to be almost out of Doubting fabric softener. Would you like to order more?
Yeah. I'm from Amazon.
They're
Oh
the
my
next
God.
Amazon drones. Birds.
It's not the CIA at all. Jeff Bezos owns the CIA, which probably isn't.
They'll have to start delivering things via laden swallows. And grip the packages by the husk.
It's
We've
not
gone
about
a ways down this road.
It's not about how it. It's about airspeed velocity.
So yeah, the book is not necessarily my cup of tea. Not sure what exactly it had to say, but it definitely passed the time. I'd say like a 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5. That's just my score if I had to give it one.
All right. Yeah, I liked it. I would recommend it for younger readers, for children. It kept me very entertained. They might learn a few new words. My copy that I got from
Like abalone and devilfish.
Yeah. The copy that I got, it was somebody was trying to learn English, and I was like, "Oh, what is that?" And I was like, "Oh, okay. So this is they were learning English using this book, and it looked like it looked like Arabic that they were learning from, because I was like, "Oh, I kind of recognize those types of characters." So, definitely it was I could see it being good for that as well, learning English. So this is a good, fun book for that. So I'd recommend it to kids. I think that's good for kids.
Yeah, I think the story was fun. Keep persevering and getting and moving forward and get the job done. But like I say, it was kind of run of the mill survival story, and maybe that's because like when this story was written, that didn't exist so much. But in our lifetime, we've seen Castaway, we've seen, I've seen so many different shows and with this story, and even hell, we've read the My Side of the Mountain already. We've all read Lord of the Flies. So yeah.
We're more used to harrowing tales of survival.
Yeah.
Kind of like, was it The Revenant or whatever?
Yeah.
Like the stakes have to be really big anymore to really catch our attention, I think.
Right.
And the stakes got pretty high. I mean, she survived an earthquake and tidal wave, and she survived like being run down by bull sea elephants fighting and whatnot. So serious stuff happened, and there was danger, but then there was long extended periods of time that go by in like a sentence. It said the spring came and then the summer went, and 2 more springs later.
Yeah.
18 years pass in this book, and that's one of the things about reading it so young as I did in 4th grade. Like in my mind, it was just she's always this 12-year-old girl surviving on an island by herself, but by the end of the book, she's 30.
Right. And you don't recognize that. But then again, though, she wouldn't have even started. So if she's 12 years old and she was alone for 18 years, she wouldn't have necessarily started changing her mentality, her societal mentality is like, okay, now I'm a woman now. You know what I mean? Like I have to do womanly things because her whole world is different. So she's that 12-year-old child going forward.
Right.
And
not a single mention of periods. Like
no.
Within the stretch of this, she would have had to deal with starting having periods.
Yeah, she doesn't mention that at all.
No mentions of that at all.
It's almost like it was written by an old white guy.
Yeah,
it's weird.
White guys get uncomfortable about talking about a young woman's menstruation.
Oh man,
it's a good thing there weren't any bears on that island.
Yeah, it's a good. Well, here's the thing, dude. They actually that back in 1835, the reason they even checked that island is because they kept on noticing that these big grizzlies were like dying like halfway out into the ocean towards this island. So they go out there. It turns out they were swimming towards the island and they were dying halfway because they couldn't make it.
Because periods attract bears.
Once a month, all of a sudden, bears just start swimming out to the ocean.
Smell the menstruation.
Yeah. God. Oh. Scott Odell, you old bastard.
I remember when Anchorman quotes were like proto memes.
Yeah, right.
Like before we had internet memes, we had Anchorman quotes. So the book has a sequel.
Oh, it does?
It does have a sequel, yes.
Wow. Is it called I Shit My Pants?
A Herring Tale of Dysentery?
A Harrowing Tale of Dysentery. It is called Zia. It apparently is about Karana's niece, because she has a sister that went ahead of her, obviously. That was, I have her name written down here. Her sister was Ulape, and I guess Zia is Ulape's daughter, and Karana actually appears in the story. It kind of takes place before Karana arrives in America, and like Zia is interacting with her aunt, and within the scope of the book, Karana dies, and Zia makes friends with Rontuaru and goes on with her life, I guess.
God damn. So the sequel has Karana dying, right? Like, she gotta die pretty quick, then. Maybe like 7 weeks after she gets there. My goodness.
Awful. I feel so bad about it, too. And I'm just like, 7 weeks, really?
I mean, you know, at some point she was on that island all alone by herself, so she had to take the risk regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At some point she needed to get, if she was going to do that, or she was going to jump off into the rocks or something, you know, at some point.
Right.
Yeah, the people on Alone, they only last, what? This last time was like, they haven't made it to 100 days yet. I know that. So we're getting close, but.
You'd be something special to be able to do it with no contact. There are people out there like, I don't need no contact. You get fucking contact. People drop off crates of shit to your house.
You always have a camera person with you.
Oh, yeah. You always got something somewhere, somehow. No, exactly. To be zero contact, that's different. And for years like that, 18 years, that's like being in solitary confinement, essentially.
Mm-hmm. At least she had a dog. That helps.
Right. I just wonder what she did for entertainment, because like all she did is make skirts out of cormorant feathers, build weapons in her house or whatever.
Probably a lot of masturbation.
Which is also left out.
Yeah. That's also
by
left
this
out
old
of
white
the story,
dude,
which is fine. This thing is so you can't. Yeah, it's just fine. Again, she was 30 at some point in the book. She was 30.
Hey, she let all the guys know she was single, though. She came off that island. She's like, ooh, look at this mark. I am not taking fellas.
Suddenly the little girl in the canoe has a different connotation. Anywho, the book also has a film adaptation that they made just a few years after the book's release that we may want to track down.
Ooh,
yeah, we'll try to find it.
Yeah, we'll fit that in alongside what was the other one? Hatchet, which they made a movie about Hatchet too.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And we have that Boxcar Children that's on YouTube that we can watch. Oh, did you guys listen to any of the audiobooks for this one at all?
So yes, I listened to the one that's on YouTube. I don't know if you guys.
Well, there's a few on YouTube.
So there's this one on YouTube that I want to mention real quick.
Is it the one with the waves?
With Brian Young, the man who announces in the first episode that he does in fact have Tourette's and may cough here and there. But please ignore that. And he also put background noise into it to add to the. And I mean,
the
to
waves?
the extent where. Yeah, no, not just the waves, dude.
Oh, there's more?
When
I got annoyed.
When I listened to this guy for the whole thing.
Oh, no.
It's like 10, 20-minute episodes. In one of the episodes, he actually adds like exciting music during the part where she's fighting the wild dogs. It's like dun 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 dun, and he's like, she moved in and drew back the bow, afraid it would break. Which it was funny.
I thought it was gonna be the fun kind of Tourette's, like the kind where he swears.
No, it wasn't the fun. He just every now and again he would cough, and he mentions at the beginning, he goes, every now and again I'll cough, and that was his tick.
I choose not to edit it out.
Yeah, and he chose not to edit it out, but he edited in the music, which I feel like he was playing the music while he was recording. To be perfectly
get himself psyched up to read it. Yeah.
But Brian Young, he's on YouTube. Please go listen to this man. He did a wonderful job. 20-minute episodes.
The version I listened to is just professional done recorded books off of Hoopla.
I'm really sorry for you that you didn't get to experience the culture that I did.
I didn't get to experience. Is it just some guy reading books?
Yeah, just
breaking copyright.
Breaking copyright. He did it in 20-minute episodes.
20-minute episodes.
10 20-minute episodes. Nice. Is there still copyright on it?
I mean, it's published in 1960.
It was published in 62, right?
60 according to my notes. Still, like it would have to have been written in like 22 or something.
Yeah, so I did 70, verify. Yes, Brian Young.
70 years. It's 70 years
after the death of the author, right?
Unless they keep doing the copyright, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Yep.
But still, 1960 is still too soon.
Yeah. Well, only by 10 years though.
Domain.
Yeah, but still, yeah.
Yeah, I tried to listen to it on Hoopla, but it just messed it up. It kept messing up when I was trying to listen to it. Like the audio kept like getting messed up, so I had to turn it off. And then I found it on YouTube, and I found the same recording on YouTube. It was just I could speed it up.
I'll check that down and see what you're talking about. Sounds pretty interesting.
And he's got like a slight Southern accent. It's really funny.
So this dude with Tourette's from the South. Reading,
that plays music in the background the whole time.
Music in the background, coughing every so often because of his Tourette's.
Yeah, Brian Young.
Reading a song about a young Native woman.
Dude, I'm telling you, when it gets to the action part, and it's like, he's reading, you're like, wow, man, it's like I'm there.
West Side Story all of a sudden.
I don't mean to tease the guy. I'm not trying to tease him with that. It was just like all through it, you know, like you're saying.
It's an interesting choice for an audiobook.
He could have edited it out.
He could have edited it out.
And he chose not to. Which, you know, is brave, I think, kind of.
Maybe it's to draw attention to the cause. Yeah. And Tourette's, y'all. I don't know what color ribbon that is, but we'll donate all proceeds of this episode to Tourette's.
Yep.
Not even dysentery.
Well, we pledge that. We'll pledge that. That's different. I want everybody to realize that's different than saying we will do it.
Okay, Amber.
Pledge to do it. We're pledging to do it.
Yeah. All right, so I think that about does it for Island of the Blue Dolphins. Any finishing thoughts to go out on about this story before we wrap it up?
Yeah. I mean, we see here that even someone who hates dogs could come to love them, but first they got to try to kill one. So Andy, get on it.
You got a dog that you can pit.
You got to find a stray.
Just find a stray.
Go find a stray and try to kill it, and then soon after you'll fall in love with it.
Yeah, after I shoot it with an arrow.
Yeah, you'll have to nurse it back to health, but that's how you adopt a dog.
That's how you adopt a dog.
You're getting a lot of bad advice on dogs here in this episode, I want to say. Don't take his advice. All right, but anyways,
becoming a dog lover is to try to kill one.
All right. Well, how about anybody else's thoughts on this?
Yeah, speaking of, you should give some thoughts on this. Tell us in our review or in a Reddit posts. You can post on our Reddit page. Andy, what else do we got out there for people to check out?
Well, we've got a Facebook, we got an Instagram, we got a Twitter. You can tweet us. We have a YouTube channel that all our episodes get released on. We also do the occasional side video to accompany our stuff. We got an Instagram. I don't know if I've already said Instagram, but there it is.
I actively comment on TikTok.
Yeah, we sort of have a TikTok.
I actively comment on other videos on TikTok.
Using the ReLiterated profile.
Using the ReLiterated profile with my own personal political opinions.
Nice. By the way, listen to our podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, we got a lot of followers for the stuff I say on other people's videos. I need to get back to making them.
Yeah, the TikToks have been by and large in Harold's hands. I cover mostly the Facebook and Instagram, mostly because you post on one, you can post on the other. I've been getting into the Instagram kind of thing. Like, I didn't know I was going to be this into Instagram, but for my own personal side of things, I found it's a great way to be part of the whole retro game collecting scene. Is what I've been doing. And then doing stuff for the ReLiterated profile as well. It's handy that I can do both Instagram and Facebook at the same time. Right. Off an Instagram post, so that's nice. Lets me get to two different places at once. Twitter is just a cesspit that should not be.
Yeah, I don't even want to use Twitter at this point because I don't want to
get so mad scrolling through Twitter anymore.
Yeah, I just go on Twitter to see what wrestlers post. So.
Yeah, we get our we auto tweets when our episodes release, but usually that's it. We don't get a lot of interaction on that side of things. So yeah, Twitter's just kind of there.
However, I do get messages if someone interacts with our Twitter, so we would interact if someone did.
Yeah, if that's how you choose to interact with us, we'll interact right back because we still have an eye and an ear on that kind of thing.
And I repost stuff on Reddit a lot. Basically, I just this will be good for our page, and then I throw it on there.
We have a subreddit. Yeah, we have a subreddit. Hey, guys, the other day, I want to tell you, so I've been rocking a mustache, right, for a while now, and it's a 6 out of 10 on the Selleck scale, I'd say, personally.
At least.
Okay, you agree? From it. Yeah. Okay, you agree it's at least a 6 out of 10? All right. The other day, I was taking a hit off a little bowl, and it was a little bowl. And I was kind of bent down and I lit it up. And all of a sudden I was like, man, this stuff smells weird. And then I heard a crackling sound and realized I had lit my mustache on fire.
Oh, my.
But my mustache is so bushy that you can't even tell it happened. So
that must have been a short bowl.
It was a short bowl. That's what everybody keeps saying.
Had the flame so close to your face?
The worst part was I shouldn't have been leaned down the way I was. I should have had my hand out like this, but I was down like this, and the flame. I was looking down, so the flame went straight up into my lip.
Wait, demonstrate that one more time for the listeners.
I know I'm demonstrating it.
Audio
I just said I was looking down. I was looking down instead of straight forward.
This is the rare instance where two of us are in the same room.
Yeah.
And the other one is way off on the other side of the country. But so yeah, he's displaying it for me and how close he was. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it makes for great audio.
It's perfect for radio.
So anyways, next episode that we're doing. We were gone for what's it been, like 3 weeks since the last.
Been like 3 weeks since the last one. Yeah, a lot of stuff's going on lately.
It's summer break.
It's summer. We're taking it easy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I don't know if any of us have started this next.
I haven't.
This next one. I haven't. I've started with the introduction.
I just got promoted at work, so I've been focusing on that for the moment. But I do plan on starting this next one.
Yep. So eventually, sooner, hopefully, rather than later, we'll be getting to Lord of the Flies by William Golding. Absolutely. Another popular tale of survival. Also popularly assigned reading in high schools, usually.
Yep. I read it in 10th grade. So.
Yep.
This is a good book. I liked Lord of the Flies, so I think I'm still going to like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're leaving the younger side of the young adult stuff, and next episode we're going to bring something for a little bit older set, but just a little bit older. And hopefully we can get this this monster read. It's not exactly a monster.
It's not that long.
My copy that I'm looking at right now was like a scholar, kind of a scholar edition.
Oh,
where it's
yeah.
got, like writings and big, thick opinion pieces.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I don't remember Lord of the Flies being
it's
much
not,
more.
Yeah, it's not that long. It's not that thick, but mine is. But hopefully, I'll have time to read all of the story itself, definitely, but also some more writings about it and be better informed for next episode, where we'll be discussing that piece of. Is it American literature? I think it's American.
Yeah,
there's English.
Oh, maybe English literature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was written by a Brit. I'm gonna say it was.
Well, it's a good thing we weren't on that island because we know we kick British people's ass because we're Americans.
Yeah.
Just like we did. Or people did. Other people a long time ago.
We kick England's ass when we want to.
Yep.
Yeah, British author William Golding.
Very cool. Yeah,
So, yeah.
It's a really good book. I enjoy it. I have a feeling I'm going to it. I'm going to enjoy it again.
Yeah, and I have a feeling it's going to lead to interesting discussion as well. Because, yes, the subject matter is intriguing.
Yep.
Yes.
And,
all right.
Yeah, that's our story.
We're sticking to it.
Mm-hmm. So until that episode, go ahead and support your local libraries and independent booksellers. Give a shit. Read some lit.
Thank you for listening.
Well, shit. Now I don't got anything because Harold stole my tagline again.
I don't remember what I said last time.
Here.
Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle. That was ReLiterated.
Yeah, that's why I was not expecting it. So, yeah, you just said Bob's your
I
uncle.
said that last time.
I was
wanna try
thinking
that
I could
again?
do this. The little birds were chirping in their cage, and Rantu Aru sat beside me. And that's the last line in the book. So. Yep, exactly.
This has been ReLiterated, a production of the Chocolate Milk Friends and part of the 989 Podcast Network. If you enjoy our show, please consider giving us support by subscribing, recommending us to your book reading, podcast listening, 90s nostalgic friends, and most importantly, rating and reviewing us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible Podcasts, and Spotify. Did I mention we really want some Spotify ratings right now? Your ratings and reviews go a long way towards getting us in the ears of new listeners. You're also invited to join the growing ReLiterated community on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. And if you really want to get nuts, we have a Discord too. So bing us and join us in this nonsense. If you have a book suggestion for a future episode or have questions for us, send us an email at reliterated@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
I don't know. Or you just keep my... You just keep that ending. I think that's fine.
I think we ended it just fine.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
You got anything, Xander? We just wrapped up, but I'm still recording if you want to say anything.
Yeah, so am I.
You want to say anything to our audience, Xander? Any input? You didn't read Island of the Blue Dolphins. What are you reading right now? Nothing? What are we reading at bedtime?
Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
That's right. We're currently reading Harry Potter through the Harry Potter series, and we're almost done with Chamber of Secrets. So that's what we're reading.
Yeah, and we already have the third book, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yep, we got that ready to go.
Is that a book about robots?
Oh.
No?
No.
Well, I thought it was like a robot that's made out of like pots. Like they put it together with gears and pots. Harry Potter.
That'd be interesting.
You're such a dork.
Xander's looking at me like, dude, this guy. He can't be serious.
It's like, really? Harry Potter is so popular.
How can he not know who Harry Potter is? I was telling someone the other day at work, I was saying to him, Pink Floyd was on, and I said, man, I don't get music these days. These kids don't know what the old classic rock would be like or whatever. And some younger guy looks at me and goes, are you fucking serious? This is Pink Floyd. And I'm like, are they new? He's like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Just straight face. That's what I'm gonna say.
All right. I'm pausing it now.
Yeah.
All right.